Stephanie Baker from Life in Abundance Counseling Ministry is along with us. And here's a thought. So it's like 2021 is going to be here. It's like a snap of a finger. And most people are like, I want it to be so new and fresh. We need this. But listen, it's not going to change in a blink of an eye, right? So help us through this, Stephanie.
Right.
Well, and when we talked before Thanksgiving, we used the term, I think, as best I can recall, romanticizing. And I brought up the movie that was Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation, and he had all of these expectations and was so disappointed when every one of them fell apart. And so I think talking about not romanticizing 2021 is probably a good thing. Romanticizing means that it's going to be perfect, and nothing that gave us any angst in 2020 is going to follow us into 2021. And that's just not realistic. That's not our reality. Just because the calendar moves us into another year doesn't mean that all things are going to be familiar again and what we would consider to be back to normal. It doesn't erase what's currently going on and make everything okay. So I think it's important that we think about being realistic in what we're expecting, but also even for the Christmas holiday that's coming up.
Yeah. So how do we manage that kind of expectation?
Well, I think it's important that we understand, first of all, what an expectation is, and that is our thought about how something should be. And when we think about what something should be, typically that leads us to a personal judgment. And our personal judgment is about how we think things should be, how other people should behave, what our circumstances should look like. And the reality is, with those things, we don't always have control over anything but our responses. So I think it's important to balance hope right now with reality. And if we talk about hope, what we talk about is the idea that our hope is not in man. Our hope is in God, right? And so when we look at what Scripture has to tell us, the Lord says He's our hope. He offers us both a hope and a future. And we don't always know ahead of time what He's doing, and we can't always see in the moment what He's doing, but we can be assured, as the song says, that He is always working. Even when I don't feel it, He's working. Even when I don't see it, He's working. When we look at the definition of faith, or it says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I think it's important that we remember too that challenges in Romans 5:4, challenges produce endurance. Endurance produces character, and then character produces hope. And I have a very dear friend of mine who said several weeks ago, Stephanie, we just don't jump from endurance to hope. It's a process. And I agree with her. I think it is a process. So I think recognizing that it is a process, but understanding that there is hope no matter what things look like around us. There's hope in what the Lord tells us that He's doing.
Stephanie Baker along with us from Life in Abundance Counseling Ministry, talking about heading into the new year. Resolutions is always a big thing.
Yes, and I think I wrote in something that I believe there's a graveyard where resolutions go to die every year. And so why would I feel that way? Because resolutions suggest that there's just something that's broken, and in one fell swoop we're going to fix whatever it is that's broken. And it doesn't really work that way. I can say I want to lose weight or I want to get a new job, and it doesn't just mean that that's going to happen. So resolutions, understanding the difference between resolutions, goals, and vows, I think are really important for all of us right now. So a resolution is just a sweeping statement. I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. With no plan, no process. And actually, it's an expectation, which we just talked about expectations. And when our expectations don't happen, then we can tend to get really frustrated. The more frustrated we are is determined by how much buy-in we had to whatever that expectation is that didn't happen. A goal is a statement of what we want to attain with a plan of how to attain it. Most of you, or many of you, have probably heard of SMART goals, right? Our goals are specific. They need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time defined. So we have a plan of how we're going to achieve those things. And then vows. This is very different. Vows come from trauma. Or we make many vows when we experience trauma. And I believe many of us have had trauma this year, whether it be in the loss of a loved one, our business challenges, our challenges with our families. Vows are typically made in the midst of trauma, and they sound something like, I will never, or no one will ever, or I will always. And so the problem with vows is that they are almost always impossible to keep, because I can't be in complete control of other people or my circumstances. So, or God for that matter. And so we want to understand the two of them. And when we're thinking about 2021 and going into it, I think it's a wonderful idea to talk about goals.
Yeah, and when we go into 2021, and let's say that we don't reach that goal in the year, or we break that vow or that resolution, how can we get through that process?
I think also having grace for ourselves and for other people. Even if I wrote a goal and had steps with what goes on in 2021, if 2020 has been any indication of the need for flexibility, understanding that things may change. We've all experienced it. And so I think it's maintaining the course as best we can in any given situation, but having an idea of where the destination is that we're headed for whatever the subject matter is, be it personal health, be it business, be it, homeschooling, whatever it is, right? Having that destination in mind, but being flexible, having plans, but holding them kind of loosely, being flexible.
Stephanie Baker from Life in Abundance Counseling Ministry. Thank you so much. I hope you have a phenomenal new year. What are you going to do in the new year, by the way?
Oh, gosh. I'm looking forward to some much needed time off here. My team and I, that'll be for a couple of weeks. And then when my team and I return, we have some events that are kicking off here within the ministry, and we're looking forward to that. I'm just excited to see what God has in the new year again, because our future and hope doesn't come from man. It comes from him. That's right. I'm excited to see what he has. I have seen the goodness of the Lord in 2020. Even in 2020, I have seen the goodness of the Lord, and I don't expect that I'm going to stop seeing that anytime soon.
No, we don't either. Stephanie, thank you so much. If you want to see any of this, we'll have it for you on the video replay. That's on Apple TV, Roku, HISRadio.com, and the My His Radio app. The blog is up already, so you'll be able to access the blog of everything that Stephanie was just mentioning.
His Morning Crew.
Question for you. How has Christmas this year changed? I mean, you have that normal thing that you do Christmas morning or Christmas Day with your family, but it's 2020, right? How's things changed for you? 800-447-7234.
Mine has changed because my daughter got married last year. And so this is the first time, really, she's not sleeping under our roof at Christmas.
Oh, no.
Even when she was out in an apartment by herself, she came home for Christmas. But she's not doing that this year.
Where? So are they going to be at the in-laws?
No, they're going to stay at their own house, their own apartment. And they are going to come over on Christmas morning, but it's not going to be, her waking us up at 6:00 in the morning and that kind of thing.
The pitter-patter down the stairs.
Oh, stop. You just broke my heart when you said that.
I don't mean to tear you up. Hey, I feel the same because my kids are starting to grow all up. I got one left. He's 12. He still gets excited, so we're going to get woke up Christmas morning. I'm thinking at 4:30. I don't know. You could do that. Oh, Wendy's along with us at 800-447-7234. Wendy, how's it changed for you this Christmas?
Well, this year my 17-year-old asked for 8 pounds of roast beef.
Roast beef? Why do you think roast beef?
I don't know. That's just what she put on her Christmas list this year. That's the only thing she put on her Christmas list.
Just roast beef? Wow.
Just roast beef.
That's crazy. Okay, well, roast beef for Christmas. Why not?
Wait, not just roast beef. 8 pounds.
Whew.
What are you doing with 8 pounds of roast beef?
Well, that heavy Christmas package, Christmas morning, you know what it's going to be, the roast beef.
Rob and Liz.
His Morning Crew.
Thinking about Christmas memories, and of course you might be baking and doing some of that stuff this week, the 100 hours of Christmas, just add to that. But I was thinking about Christmas morning and how it's going to be different, is that our boys aren't going to be up, like you said, your son Eli at 12 years old is going to be just ripping into the presents. Ours are going to be more chill. They probably want to sleep in just a little bit more.
I wonder how long they're going to sleep in. There's still an excitement that's there even when you're a teen, but usually teens don't go to sleep until 1 in the morning and they wake up at 1 in the afternoon.
Oh, exactly. I think they might get up at 6 instead of the 4:30.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
CJ is here at 800-447-7234. What about you, CJ, those Christmas morning traditions?
It was actually not my mom's. It was my dad's, and it was called stuff. And he would take scrambled eggs, cheese, hash browns, and salsa and mix it together for breakfast that morning.
I love how he just named it stuff.
Yes, it was just, there was no name for it. It was just called stuff.
And how good was stuff?
It's so so good that even after he passed away, my sister still makes it every Christmas morning.
Oh, I love that. It's like a piece of dad every Christmas because your sister's still making that for you guys.
I lost my dad when I was 17 years old, and so the fact that she will make that for me at my request, it just means that a lot to me.
Well, your family is awesome.
Yes, they are.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
About your Christmas Day, since it's coming up this Friday, right? Boy, it is so close, Christmas Day, that we're wondering about your Christmas morning traditions or your Christmas Day traditions. They're kind of changed up a little bit too, right? It's Rob and Liz, His Morning Crew on His Radio. Your mom just had a birthday, so she's like a Christmas baby, kind of.
She is kind of. She celebrated yesterday. It's the 20th is her birthday. And because we can't visit her this week, I had her DoorDash dinner delivered yesterday from her favorite place in the world, Cracker Barrel.
You're
I said, "What do
kidding
you want?"
me.
No, she said, "I want a hamburger." I was like, "Really? You just want a hamburger?" "I just want a hamburger." I said, "Okay,
Cracker
easy enough."
Barrel. Wow.
I know. So
That
yeah,
is
happy
so
birthday.
neat. I love the relationship that you have with your mom. If you don't know my story and you're new because you found the Christmas music on His Radio, I was orphaned when I was a teenager. And I haven't had a relationship with my mom ever since, but I always think about her this time of the year. I think about her almost every day, but even more so because her birthday is the day after Christmas.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's always the day after Christmas. Well, always, yeah, because she was born on that day. Never fluctuates to another day. It's always the day after Christmas. So I kind of wish that you know, she's missed out on so much, grandkids and all this stuff.
Missed out,
you know,
yeah.
Oh my word! Hopefully one day that'll change. I want it to change soon. Michelle's
I pray
here.
for that.
Thank you. Michelle's here at 800-447-7234. What about you, Michelle, with these Christmas traditions?
I share the same birthday as your mom, December 26th, and this year I'll be 47, so it's not quite as bad. But as a child, I was very upset because I would get my birthday presents in Christmas wrap, and I would say to my sisters that I never give them their birthday presents in Christmas wrap, so I don't know why mine had to be a Christmas wrap. So again, I've kind of gotten over it, and the good part about it is that I was with our extended family at Christmas time, and so they did sing happy birthday to me, which I felt a little bit better because my other cousins didn't get that ability to be with our extended family at their birthdays. So that was the one positive.
Rob and Liz.
His Morning Crew.
How's the Christmas movies been going for you this year? It's Rob and Liz, His Morning Crew on His Radio. So my middle son, Spencer, he gets home from leading worship at the church where he's the worship pastor at 19 years old, might I add. He goes, I just want to watch some Christmas movies. So we stuck one in with Chevy Chase, the classic. Yeah. And then we started thinking, you know what we used to do every year at Christmas Day would go to see this new Star Wars film. Well, there's not one this year.
Yeah. No.
So we watched Mandalorian. Don't worry, not going to spoil anything for you. After that, we thought, let's watch Rogue. So we watched Rogue, and then we saw A New Hope. We kind of binged a little bit.
Yeah,
and
you were all over the place, huh, in that story.
we almost started The Empire Strikes Back, but then we didn't. Those are
Which
like
is the greatest Star Wars movie.
Oh, you really? I like Rogue the best. I don't know why. I like Rogue the best. And even though, you know, I've seen Star Wars ever since it came out in 1977. So every single one of them in the theater. Woohoo! That's good.
Yeah.
Except for Mandalorian. That should be in the theater.
It really should have this season, especially. But we always watch the Chevy Chase one, like you're talking about. And there's one that I have to watch by myself because none of my family gets into it. A Christmas Carol, and I don't understand why they don't. And Miracle on 34th Street. My family does not like either of those movies. I don't get it.
Which one?
Oh, Miracle on 34th. Actually, I like both with Natalie Wood and then the newest one, which came out, in the 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
Miracle on Christmas Carol. I like the Patrick Stewart version, but I think the George C. Scott is by far the best.
And then there's Jim Carrey.
That one, I don't like that one as much.
A little different, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. Well, might as well just have a discussion about it. 800-447-7234. Trudy's along with us. What about you, Trudy?
Yes, thank you so much. I enjoy listening to your radio station all the time. And I just want to speak about Hallmark. Our whole family is enthralled in it, including husbands and nephews and nieces. Everyone watches it mostly in their own homes. And we have the T-shirts and the socks.
I'm curious on who held out before they gave in and said, okay, this is a good thing for us?
Are you speaking about the wife or the husband? Is that what you're saying?
Either one of you. I mean, what was your husband into it before you were?
I think I just started gluing into it, and he just sat right there, and then he totally watched it. Hey, I cannot be at home and walk in the house after work, and he already has it on.
You're kidding. That's
no,
great.
I am not kidding.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Curious, which one's your jam this morning? It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, 800-447-7234. Okay, Teresa's along with us. Teresa, what is your favorite Christmas special movie, whatever it is this time of year?
I've always loved The Little Drummer Boy. Still makes me cry. I mean, just something as simple as the kid not thinking he has anything and he has everything because he has the right spirit. And he doesn't even know it until he gets there and meets Jesus. It's just wonderful to me.
You know, we watched that one on Saturday as a family. I love that.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know why. Always brings me back and reminds me of my grandma because I always watched it at her house.
I love it. Carol said, oh, yes, Liz, The Christmas Carol and Miracle on 34th Street, two of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. And she said, I think it's because they bring me back to my childhood. I didn't have a whole lot to watch, back then. So she just loves those. Jean says, my all-time favorite is It's a Wonderful Life, and just the message that you're very important, that God sent an angel to show you how life would have been without you. Which is in the movie.
That's one of my favorites. I watch it every year, pretty early in the Christmas season, but I'm going to tattle on Liz. That's not her favorite.
It's not. My sister's absolute favorite, and that could be the reason why, is because she wanted to watch it every single year, and I don't know. I don't know why I don't.
Listen, when you're a kid, it's boring.
It was
Seriously.
a little. And I hate to say that.
I didn't like it growing
such a
up.
good message.
I didn't like it growing up, but when I got in my 20s and then I watched it and I'm like, oh, this is good. And I like the message in it.
Maybe I need to rewatch then.
Yep, no, you'll still have that feeling because of your sister.
Yeah, probably. So that sounds terrible. I'm not going to watch it because she loved it. What? Mm-hmm. What's wrong with me?
I know. Don't worry.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So exciting. Christmas week is here. Tonight you get to see the Star of Bethlehem, meaning that Saturn and Jupiter are going to line up, and they haven't done that for 800 years. And here's the thing. At his radio, that means something to us. I mean, your faith in Jesus, that is just so real. We hold tight to our hearts as well because we live that faith out. And here's the thing, as a listener-supported radio station, you help his radio keep that message going strong, especially since we're at the time where you are thinking about giving a year-end gift to an organization.
Yeah. And, going back to that Star of Bethlehem, we talk about why that's so important to us. And you're not going to hear that a lot of places, but you will hear it on his radio. And that can create dialogue with you and your friends as you share the ministry of his radio. One other way that you can do that, as Rob said, is you can give a gift. And you can do that by the year end, and you can even write that off on your taxes for this coming year. So it's easy to do. Go to hisradio.com. Just open that My His Radio app to do it there, or even text the word give to 800-447-7234.
His morning crew.
There is news about Rocky. Not Balboa. I know what you were thinking. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
So Rocky is that owl that was in the Rockefeller Christmas tree at Rockefeller Plaza, New York City. When they got that spruce pine up, they found Rocky, who was an owl. Well, of course, she made the news. Well, she had to be re-released, out into the wild, back into nature. Somebody wrote a book about her.
It's a children's book, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's already out. I mean, they wrote it and got it out there, boy. But yeah, it's about an owl in Rockefeller, named Rockefeller, who meets Santa Claus in New York City and all of the adventures that they have together. And you can even get the book right now on Amazon. So I bet you could maybe get it before Christmas.
There you go. Somebody capitalizing off an owl in a tree.
I know. And Rocky gets nothing out of the deal.
He's getting no money out of this. That poor owl.
His morning crew.
I think I know one thing that'll help you. You need a good zorbing. Just a good zorbing. A good zorbing always does the heart good. Just to have a good zorbing. You don't know what zorbing is? You should know what zorbing is. Zorbing is the next big thing.
I'm not sure if I know what zorbing is or not. Explain.
You just go to Tennessee to the outdoor gravity park and you can do a little zorbing.
I'm still confused. What?
Mm-hmm. It's a downhill rolling sport, so to say. So you're in this orb. You're in this big plastic bubble that rolls, and you're inside this thing, and so they gently push you downhill, and you feel like you're going, gravity free, and you even have some little water parts of it. So it rolls in the water, and you're in it, and feels like you're, orbiting. So they call it zorbing.
I have seen this when I've been on vacation outside country, and I didn't do it because I don't like things that make me nauseous, and I think that would make you super nauseous.
Oh, no. You'll just be zorbing. Zorbing's the next big thing.
Zorbing that's why there's only one in the entire country?
That's right, because it's the next best thing. You can only go to one place to do your zorb. Others...
And that's in Tennessee.
Others might try to replicate it, but there's only one place to zorb, and it's in Tennessee,
You know what I see happening?
What?
I see somebody around here making their own zorbing orb.
Yes.
I see that happening.
Mm-hmm. And I would
Not
like to
gonna go
try. So I don't have to travel to Tennessee. Just go to your own backyard and do my own little bit of zorbing and hopefully not get sick in it.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
If you grew up like in the early 90s, you were just a kid and you liked that show, The Dinosaurs, hey, got some news for you. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
We used to watch this. My daughter, Taylor, born in 92, she was just a toddler when Dinosaurs was on. And whenever the little baby in Dinosaurs would say, not the mama, not the mama, she would repeat that. Loved that show. Yeah, it is coming back. It's going to be on Disney Plus.
That's going to be so good. All these memories, especially for kids that grew up at that time. I let's see. Wes was born in 85, so he wasn't even 10 just yet when Dinosaurs was on.
Yeah, I loved that show. I don't even know why. And evidently it had a humongous first year. Like everybody was watching it. It was on Friday night. And for whatever reason, ABC decided to move it to Wednesday and not a lot of people followed it. And so it fell by the wayside. So it was only on for a couple of years. But evidently, there's so much nostalgia going on and a lot of reboots. They're bringing it back.
Well, I'm glad they're bringing back the original, or are they rebooting it? Okay, they're bringing back because I'm not a reboot fan.
No,
it's never.
Are you not?
It's never the same.
I guess I haven't gotten into any of the reboots. Spinoff, yes. Reboot, maybe not so
Listen,
much.
there's a spinoff on Magnum PI, which is decent. There's a spinoff on MacGyver. I don't like it.
I didn't like the new MacGyver either.
It's just tough to watch. I mean, they're okay, but it's not the same.
Now,
Just not
Hawaii
the same.
5-0 though? Yeah.
That was pretty good. They did a good
I like
reboot
that
on that, but for the most part, I'm not a reboot guy.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Can you believe it? Christmas is coming up so quick. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, and so is New Year's. It's a week away now.
I know. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we kind of have to if you want to sleep under the lights of Times Square in New York City. So a lot of things are shut down in New York City right now, but Airbnb and NASDAQ have gotten together, which is such a weird pairing to me. But they're going to let somebody sleep in Times Square under the vault for $21. $21.
That's it. It's a big thing. $21 for this opportunity.
Yeah, it's like a clear dome bedroom on top of the NASDAQ building, and it has like a king-size bed. Of course, there's heat. You also get a $5,000 shopping credit, a dining room, a reading nook. Mariah Carey is going to say hey to you, I guess, which is weird part of all of this. But anyway, the bidding for it, or not the bidding, but it's going to be open this morning at 9 a.m. It's going to be available for $21, first come, first serve.
So the first one in gets it? Or there's going to be like a raffle kind of thing?
No, I think it's going to be available for a couple of different nights. So it's not necessarily on New Year's Eve. Somebody will be there New Year's Eve. But I think there's a couple that are going to be available. But it says first come, first serve. So I don't know. I think they're going to make the internet crash at 9 a.m. I'm not so sure.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
If you saw the finale of this season's Mandalorian, I think you may have missed something.
What? Because it was
you may have missed something. Yeah, we're going to tell you straight up front, we're not going to spoil it for you. We're not going to talk about details whatsoever on the finale of The Mandalorian, because if you're like me, you don't watch it on Friday, you wait. I saw it Saturday. But
me too.
There is a possibility, if you did see it and you stopped at the credits and turned it off, you missed something.
I did just that. I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't wait for. No, I didn't wait for the after the credits at all. I don't even think I waited for the credits.
Okay. Again, we're not spoiling anything. We're not going to talk about details of The Mandalorian at all. So don't worry. We're not going to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it just yet, because it's going to be the talk of what happened at the end of it. But if you stopped at the credits, like most people did, you're going to have to go back and watch after the credits. I was looking at the credits. The credits were rolling. I'm going, why is there so much time left? The credits aren't
I didn't even know
that long. And so I skimmed past the credits, and there's more at the end of the credits of the Mandalorian season finale.
No, I immediately went to my phone because Jon Favreau, who is the creator of The Mandalorian, I needed to find out if he directed that episode because I wanted to tweet him and say, awesome.
Too good,
but
huh?
he didn't direct it. Yeah, so I didn't watch the credits.
Okay. If you've seen The Mandalorian, again, we're not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil a thing for you. Liz is not going to spoil a thing for you.
Nope.
But if you stopped at the credits, go back and watch at the end of the credits because there's something there. I'm not going to tell you what that is either. Not going to spoil it, but wow.
I'm having a hard time not talking, so.
Okay, so she's going to be silent. I'll turn off her mic before she goes any further.